What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wealth Journey series, episode 30. I know it's been like 9 months since I made my last video, and I just want to let y'all know I just made a 55-minute video recording just for you, and the audio was not on. So I'm a little embarrassed about that. That's why you hear me chuckling a little bit. But anyway, welcome back. This video is going to be an action-packed video, and I'm super excited to do this video for you. I had a lot of fun making the first one, but this one is going to be even better. So if you've been watching me for a while and you haven't seen one of these videos since February of this year, I have quite a few very big updates for you. But before we jump into those, we're going to get right into this video. So this is a little bit of a different video. This is the first time I put one of these videos on this series, but it's called November Financial Reset, and it's where I reflect on the month of October, how spending went, how much I made, all that good stuff, where the money went. But then it's reflecting on that and looking at how I'm going to use those reflections to do better in November, and even show you a little bit of how November is going right now. So I hope you're excited about that. We're going to jump right into my computer. All right, so now that we're on my computer, we're looking at my Money Finder page, which is what I like to visit every time a month is over with. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to October, run Money Finder. We're going to do a quick recap of what October was looking like as far as spending goes. So with rent and utilities, I spent well within the budgeted amount, and this does do an automatic budget for you based off of the 50-30-20 rule, as well as a combination of the zero-based budget. So the goal is to get this number down here to zero, but it found some money, which means I overspent by $440.65, and that, of course, was in multiple areas, but especially looking at the non-necessities, which is dining, that is where that money was overspent at. Other areas I overspent in were things like investing, but really all I did was I looked at how much money I had left from this, and I was able to invest the difference. And that's what I like to do because I want to continuously build my net worth. But October was a very successful month. It was a very good month as far as earning. It was a very good month as far as getting more money from YouTube and business and things like that. It was a very good month. But it was also a very good month because it was my brother's birthday. It was my girlfriend's birthday. I was able to get them both gifts, and I was able to take my girlfriend out and celebrate her birthday. She hit a huge milestone, 25 years old. But then to add to that, she had a big milestone within her career, so I just wanted to make sure she felt as celebrated as possible. So we had fun, we had some good food, and she got some nice gifts. And we also went on a very nice spa, and I got my first ever massage in life, and now I'm addicted to them, and I want to get another one because my whole life I've been tight and like muscular and whatnot, but like once I got that massage, I actually felt like, oh man, this is nice. I felt like I had WD-40 in my muscles. But anyway, that was just a quick recap of October. So now let's look into my budget for November. And I just built this page because I actually just built this platform that you're looking at right now. This is actually software, an app really, built on top of Google Sheets. And I built this myself. It's called WealthSync AI. And there's a lot of stuff in the background on this, but anyway, this is my budget page. And once I was showing this app to people, they were like, you know, the only thing it's missing is a page to actually plan for a budget. I was like, oh, of course. So within like literally a day, I went ahead and added this, threw this together, and it's fully functional. But anyway, I just like to budget on a pessimistic scale, so I don't make this a month. I make more than this a month, but I do a bare minimum. Like if I weren't getting what I was supposed to get from the job or whatever the case was, this is how much I would expect to make at the very bare minimum on a take-home level. And then here's some expenses that I put for myself. I haven't put every single expense. I tried to keep this part as general as possible because it's easy to compare to Money Finder. It's easy to compare to another page that I'm going to show you, which actually shows you your actual expenses, and it has an AI summary right next to it. So we'll get into that as well. But this is what I have budgeted for myself. My idea is that if I budget based on 7,500, and the goal, of course, at the top is to get these down to zero. So once I lay all these out and have all the prices next to everything, the goal is to get this to zero because this is based off of the zero-based budget. But I gave myself some freedom. So rent and utilities, I look at something like $1,900 a month if you combine them together. Sometimes it's a little more, but when I look at rent and utilities put together, it's usually $1,900, maybe a little bit less, but that's a pretty realistic level. And if I ever need to adjust that, I will adjust that in the future. But for right now, that's just kind of what I put. Another reason I put this page together is because I want to see truly how off I am when it comes to budgeting and saving my money. So I want to make sure that I actually capture in real time if my expectations for myself are realistic or not, or if I need to make adjustments. And I went ahead and planned for the rest of the year just because I just built it literally this month, and so all we have is next month. And if I need to adjust next month, you will see that in the next video, in the December financial reset video. But anyway, just to go over these real quick: groceries, I gave myself freedom of spending $800 per month on that. Gas and auto, $200 a month. And honestly, I don't really ever find myself spending anything close to 200. It's usually like 150 or even 100 sometimes. So with any extra money that I have from that, I do fully plan on putting into savings or investments. We also have gym and fitness, which it's a hefty price tag on that one. And the reason for that is because I work out at Anytime Fitness. That's not that much of an expensive gym, but I also have a Muay Thai gym membership. And so I have private coaching and I have class. Private coaching is weekly and it costs $60, and then the class itself is $120 per month, just to have that gym membership and just to be able to go in there anytime you want. The cool thing about both of my gyms is they're 24/7 hour facilities, and I really enjoy working out, lifting weights, hitting things and people when it's like, legal and not committing crimes or whatnot. But the reason I say all that is because I'm doing the things that I enjoy doing, and anyone can look at the price tag besides my gym and fitness budget and be like, oh man, you're doing too much. Like, this is just what I enjoy doing. This is legitimately what my hobbies are. I love doing it. And so I wanted to kind of explain the thought process behind that, especially if you haven't been watching me for a while. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that, but I had to remind you because I've kind of taken a 9-month break from this. Dining, I gave myself $600 of a budget for that because I oftentimes go way over that, 800, 900 or more sometimes. And I think I can do better, and I think I can stick to that 600. So I'm challenging myself to do that. And if I'm way off with it, which I'll show you exactly how off I am with that here in a second, but if I am way off with it, I can always adjust and pivot, and you will hear more about that later in the video when I give myself my monthly money challenge. And you can even join me on these challenges too. Loan payments have gotten up to like $268, so I just rounded up to $270, and these are for my student loans, to be very specific. And my phone and internet bill, if you combine them, they're about $300, a little less. But the whole point of me budgeting this off of this number, which isn't even what I make per month, I'm thinking that if I can budget off of this and then spend less than what I'm giving myself to spend in these, and I have the extra money from my actual salary and business income, I think I can make some serious changes in my net worth. And I want you to watch me do it in real time, because these are all just theories. When you apply these things in life, things can turn out a lot differently. But that's just what I think at this moment in time, especially now that I've created an app/spreadsheet that is a lot smarter than just me manually typing everything in. This thing automates just about everything, and I'll show you that here in a second. Giving, I put 10, 20, but I actually give a lot more than that per month. It's honestly probably something double than that, but I'm basing it off of 10% of this plus another $270 that I absolutely send to my mom. That's one of my favorite things to do. And honestly, since I've been doing this series, I've said that a few times, and I really haven't said it that much, but some people have caught on and they've reached out to me and said, hey, I remember hearing you say that you give money to your mom or give money to your parents, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's really cool. I want to do the same thing. And now they're 22 years old saying, yeah, I just did the same thing and it feels amazing. That they don't even need it, but it's just cool to be able to say, I gave money to my parents. And it really is. It's a very empowering, electrifying feeling, to be honest with you. And I think that is a very special thing. On top of that, life insurance, $150, because that's exactly how much I pay for life insurance every month. It's whole life and term life combined as far as the price goes. Entertainment and subscriptions, I really don't see it for entertainment and subscriptions, so I really don't have that much. I might have $80 worth, but if I'm off base, I will readjust that. And gifts, Black Friday is coming up because it's November, which means everything is going to be on a discount. And I might, buy a gift for myself and some other people around me and things like that for next month, which is Christmas. So that's just what I'm looking forward to right now. And then I have my saving stuff. So I really haven't been focused too heavily on my savings account or my emergency fund, which is my high yield savings account this year. I've been really heavily focused on investing, to be perfectly honest. And I will share that screen with y'all as well later on in the video. And then my Roth IRA, I'm maxing that out hopefully this month. But right now, I have it scheduled for me to put $700 in this month and then $700 in next month to equal out to $7,000. But I do think that I'll get a bonus this month at work, and if I do, it's usually going to be like basically having an extra paycheck. And so I think it would only be valuable to go ahead and put that additional $700 on top of the $700 I'm putting in and max out my Roth IRA, call it even, call it a day. Because my goal at the beginning of every year is to go ahead and max out my Roth IRA, and I'm about to do it again for the second year in a row. And this is coming from a guy who didn't usually take his Roth IRA that seriously. So what I'm saying is I'm evolving, y'all. Individual brokerage account, I just now adjusted this to $500, and I have been exceeding that for the last few months. But at the beginning of the year, I wasn't putting as much money that I should have been putting into my individual brokerage account, and that is my best performing account. So I think I just need to be more consistent with it and put money within it. Crypto, I'm putting $100 a month, every single month, into Bitcoin, not just any crypto, but into Bitcoin. And you want to know what's something that is just crazy? I got a notification the other day from Coinbase talking about you could have turned $12,000 into $50,000 if you would have just invested $200 per month into Bitcoin for the last 5 years. And I was like, wow. That's crazy to think about. That's a $38,000 return. That's probably quicker than most people can save $38,000, right? And so just looking at it that way, it's like, ooh, I was missing out. And so even before I got that notification, I set out to save $100 in the Bitcoin a month, and I have gone over that sometimes, which you'll see later in this video. But the point is, it doesn't take a lot to make a lot, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Even if you can't do 100, you can do 50, you can do 20, and that little bit you put in is going to have a return on it, and that is what is crazy to think about. But we've talked enough about my budget. I do want to tell you I can't wait for 2026 because then I get to do this. Cleans everything out, lets you start a fresh new budget. I cannot wait for that moment, and I will do that here on YouTube with y'all watching me because I can't wait to do it. But anyway, if you want to go back, like, how did I budget 2025? And boom, you thought it was gone? Nah, it's right here for you. It'll take a second to load, but it's gonna have something for you. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at this data. So I already pulled the data for November. All I do is I put the month that I want to see, and then I go ahead and click up here, and then I connect my checking account, then Plaid pops up. I'll even show it for you real quick. This is the magic behind the app. You put your phone number in, all this good stuff, and then you sign into your accounts. A lot of times it'll just automatically connect your phone to your account and let you sign in that way. But anyway, once you do all that, it just drops the data on you, and it looks at the entire month so far. And as often as you connect your bank account, it just keeps updating what you see here on the screen right now. But I get paid semi-monthly, which means I haven't gotten paid yet this month because we're not mid-November yet. I get paid on the 15th and at the end of the month, which is either going to be the 30th or the 31st. Or if it's February the 28th, you get the idea. So it's going to look like I'm a little irresponsible, like I haven't made any income, but I've already spent $3,105.09. I'm not irresponsible though. It's just how my paychecks fall, to be honest with you. And that's something that a lot of us need to realize is how our paychecks fall and how our bills fall as well. So this is the time of the month where I have to make sure that I have a good buffer in my checking account so my account doesn't ever even think about going into the negatives. And I've been very good about that this year. But this is what we're looking at so far. And here's the humbling part that I was talking to you about earlier. When it comes to food and drink, I've already spent $482.40. So with that being said, I need to chill out before I get to my $600 limit, and we are just a week and a couple of days into the month, so I have some work to do. And if we want to get a little more granular, there's an AI chatbot down here that I like to go to and consult and see exactly what the food and drink was that I spent money in for the month. Was it Starbucks? Was it Burger King? I don't eat at Burger King, but you get what I'm saying. I'm giving you thoughts as far as what it could be. Was it Texas Roadhouse? I'm giving you ideas of what you might be doing as well. It's not just going to say food and drink, because this is a very expansive platform that you're looking at right now. So it might actually show you and get more granular when it comes to food and drink. Specifically, you go to McDonald's too much, tighten up, like more or less is what it's going to say. It's going to say it in a nicer way for you though. But that, my friends, is how we're looking for November. And to add to that, I have this thing called the Wealth Journal. This is going to give you more insight on my recaps for October and even some of November. But I built this thing called a Wealth Journal where I can just put my thoughts in, and what it's going to do is going to automatically timestamp it, so I can always look back and look at when I set goals or when I made certain accomplishments. And I think over time this will become a very, very, very special document for me and for whoever decides to use it. But anyway, this is just showing you what I invested in October and how I kind of did some double dipping for Bitcoin, because I'm only budgeted for $100. But at the beginning of October, I put in 160 because I had some extra money on me. But then the second time I got paid in October, I went ahead and put another $100 in, forgetting completely that I put $100 in there already, 160 to be exact. So I was just kind of putting more in than was really necessary, to be honest, but it's okay. And I was also happy because I went over my profits for October for my Webull account, and I profited $2,500 for that month. So I was really happy about that. I went ahead and put that in my journal entries. But I also put some thoughts in there just about my portfolio, because it is starting to get super outweighted by stocks and ETFs and everything else. And my cash is looking very low, to be honest with you. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But here's the thing, I'm cognizant of that. And actually earlier this year, I had the same problem. So I ended up liquidating $12,000 from my investments, and it did absolutely nothing to it as far as how quick it grows. I mean, honestly, I can't even tell I took the 12,000 out, but I did that to invest more in my business. My business needed to be funded more. I needed to, invest in some more things. I needed to understand how to build this code for this app that you're looking at right now. And I had to buy a laptop that had the processing power to actually stand up to this stuff. So I'm extremely proud of what I've been able to build from that. But so just for your reference on that, that's why I did what I did there. But besides that, I also took some notes. I had some car stuff pop up, nothing crazy, especially nothing like earlier this year where I was spending like a lot of money on my car. But I got a new dipstick because my old dipstick was stains beyond recognition. Really can't get good readings off of it because it's stained so bad. So I went and got a new one, $10, whoop-de-doo, from Amazon. But then I also got an ice scraper because where I live at, we get some heavy snow sometimes and some nice winter weather. So I need to make sure I'm prepared because my old ice scraper broke because it was kind of like a cheap $12 one. So I got me a heavy duty one, and I'm super excited to use it. Now watch this be the one winter we don't get any snow. But either way, if it doesn't do anything, I still have something. Last but not least, I had a small win on my HSA account, and that was I was able to automate it. And I like that because I've been going in every month in my HSA account, and I'm not talking just about my HSA savings account. I'm talking about my HSA investing account, in which I'm invested in VFIX. If you don't know what that is, that's Vanguard's S&P 500 index fund, and I've talked about it maybe once or twice on this channel, but it's super, super good. And with the HSA account, you don't need any minimum investment or anything like that. So I went ahead and have been putting money into that for months, and it's in the thousands now, and it has grown very fast actually. But I was doing it manually, and I had to keep relying on my memory, like, oh, it's been 2 weeks, let me go check. Oh, money's in there, so let me transfer it. I hate doing that. So I played around with the website a little bit one day, and I finally figured out how to make sure I was doing recurring investments automatically without me having to think about it. And I'm super excited that I figured that out. So I put that as a win. It's the little wins along the way that really does carry you in your wealth journey and build your net worth to where it should be. When you don't have to think about money, you never miss on anything. You never miss on paying yourself first. And that is what I'm excited that I'm able to do. So, with this said, looking at my budget, looking at the recap from the month of October, and just overall looking within myself and knowing what my strengths and weaknesses are when it comes to personal finances, I made myself monthly challenges. So last month, the month of October, I set out on doing a challenge to just not spend any money at work. I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, you know what? It's kind of crazy to spend money at work. This is where we work at, this is where we get paid, but we're still spending money at work. Why? I'm going to stop doing it. He just kind of looked at me. I'm like, I'm serious. I'm not spending money at work, because we have restaurants that work and we have kiosks that work, and it's not too hard to pick up a pizza or a burger or something that's there that's convenient, especially for days that you didn't bring your lunch to work. And so I was like, you know what? There's no reason for me to do it. And after consulting with my AI chatbot, let me show you real quick what it told me. $144.69 is how much I spent at work. So when you combine the kiosk and the restaurant that we go to all the time, which is called the pizza place, all that, I'll spend $144.69. That's not that much, but that's over the course of a couple months. And that money could have went somewhere else, could have went towards savings, toward investments. Like, what I'm getting at here is there's really no excuse for me not to be where I want to be if I'm spending money on things that I really don't need in that moment. I'm not going to starve to death if I don't eat at work. And I need to do better about making food at home. So that was why I set out to do that challenge in October. So these challenges are cumulative, which means they transfer to the next month. So this month, November, now I'm also still not buying things at work. Anything at work. Food, water, Diet Coke, nothing from work. I'm bringing all my food in from home. And if I don't bring a lunch, then guess what? Too bad. I straight up just won't eat at work. Call that intermittent fasting around here. And as for the month of November, the challenge is this: no more Starbucks, because it turns out that after I consulted with my money finder and it found me money, guess what? It found out the top place that I DoorDash from or just drive up to, Starbucks. So I was like, you know what? Let's see a whole month without going to Starbucks. And my thought process behind this is, if it takes 21 days on average to build a habit, and I replace that habit with something else, like cooking at home, for example, and I'm cooking healthy food that's better for me and gives me more energy and makes me feel good, and it tastes good because I get to control how it tastes because I'm making it myself, I'm thinking that I can break those habits and build better ones within a month's time and then bring them over to the next month to solidify those habits. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing one every single month. And if I ever slip up, I'll just straight up tell you. And if even if I didn't tell you, my app would tell you, hey, Reggie's been messing up. Like, when you see me share my screen here on YouTube, it's going to tell you what I spent my money on. And speaking of which, I actually just got a really good idea. So I'm going to put something in my wealth journal. And I want you to watch me do this real quick. And what I just came up with is I need to pre-make my grocery list. So y'all saw earlier that I budget $800 a month for groceries. But if I were to just make myself a grocery list from the beginning and bought it in bulk from the beginning, I'm pretty sure I would be able to save money, like a lot more money than usual, because I'm a reactive grocery shopper. And so what I find myself doing is grocery shopping every week, right? But I'm getting the bare minimum for that week, thinking that I'm saving a quick buck. But then if I don't buy enough for the week, that's when the door dashing habit happens. That's when the Starbucks or whatever else pops up and it's really not needed. So if I just buy what I need from the beginning and make a list of exactly what I need and exactly how much of it that I need, and I put the price tag beside it, that's going to make me register, okay, this is how much I should be spending per month on groceries. So if I just do that at the beginning of every single month, and it's pretty much going to be the same thing, because right now it's just me. And so I can eat the same thing every day, and I can rotate between 3 different meals or whatever the case is. But either way you look at it, spending a little more on groceries in the short term could mean to more savings in the long term. So that's what I'm going to do for myself, and I'm going to put the grocery list right here on my wealth journal. So I just thought that was really cool to show you. So just for a quick recap, my goals for November is to stop eating at the Starbucks, max out my Roth IRA. Oh, and also here's another one: pay off my debt. So I have a credit card amount, and I'll show that to you right now. This also connects to my credit card, and then I can generate a report down here. I didn't do it yet because it's just this right now, but I will share my student loans in later videos. But right now, the federal student aid.gov thing is down for whatever reason, so I can't share that with you right now. It's Sunday, November 9th, so I guess at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or something like that, that's when it's going to go ahead and be back up. So until then, right now it's like 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I want to make this video now, so I'm not focused on that right now. But anyway, 1870, like I said, in October, me and my girlfriend celebrated. I may have gotten a little overzealous with money. I did, of course, plan to spend the money, and I do have the money right now to actually pay this off, but I like to wait until it's due. This isn't going to be due until December, so I'm really not tripping about it. But I say that to say, I'm also going to pay off that this month. That is what my goal is. And I also need to look at rebalancing my portfolio because it's kind of ridiculous. I'm going to show it to you right now. So check this out. We're going to zoom into my investments. So if you don't know what all this stuff means, don't stress out about it. These are just the securities that I'm invested in. For my 401k, I didn't want to put the exact security because it's specific to my company, and I just didn't want to share that. But everything else, I'm sharing exactly what the security is. And then this is how much I paid for the investment initially, right? And this is how much it's worth now. So a lot of these have gone up a lot. Every single one of them are up. Not a single one of them has lost money, which is fantastic. But then we go over to my cash. And of course, both sides of this, whoops, let me zoom out. Both sides of this do sync with your bank account as well. So you don't have to just manually enter all this crap. But look at this. I mean, my savings are kind of pitiful right now, to be honest with you. But I have went ahead and set goals because when I notice there's a problem, I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to get these numbers up, and I'm going to go ahead and set goals so I can make sure that I'm doing good and doing what I'm supposed to do for myself. So these goals are put in, and there's these little status bars that kind of serve as motivation to you so you can see how close or how far you are from your goals. But this is what I focus on when I look at my overall portfolio, and this is how I can tell if I need to balance it. Look, they say cash is supposed to be anywhere between 5 to 10% of your net worth. And that's if you're on the more aggressive side. I've gotten too aggressive. I'm 98% into everything else, stocks, ETFs, and a little bit of crypto. But this 2% ain't gonna cut it. So I need to do better. So either I'm gonna have to look at liquidating my assets, which just means selling my stocks or crypto, or looking at just aggressively saving instead of investing my money. So either way, that's kind of a tough decision. That's just something I kind of have to sit with and think about. And I've been thinking about it all the way up to filming this video, and I still haven't figured out exactly which way I want to go with that, but I'll have an update for you in the future. And then this side over here is just showing you how often I contributed to my investment. So with Bitcoin, I don't always just stick to 100. It's honestly, I get overzealous more times than not with Bitcoin because I want to make sure I capitalize on that return. And I did miss out on a couple of months when it came to my Roth IRA, but I'm still on. Why does that keep popping up? But I'm still on track to go ahead and max out my Roth IRA. I just have to do it 2 more times. What you're looking at right now, this is the snapshot. So this is exactly how much money I've been putting into each investment and even savings accounts. And these reds up here is where I took money out of my savings accounts and proceeded to put it into investments. Another story for another day. But for right now, just know that this isn't a budgeting page. This is where I actually type out how much money I put into each investments. And again, can't wait till 2026 and then I can just do this. And I get to start off fresh with a new slate, and I can put in new numbers for these new months. And I can't wait for that. And many of you, if you end up getting this spreadsheet, you'll be able to do the same thing. But if I want to know how I did in 2025, this will tell you. boom, it comes right back to you like a boomerang. So anyway, that is what I did so far this year. November and December are blank because I haven't put in anything yet this month, and I haven't gotten paid yet this month, as we covered before. But I need to definitely look at this. This is a little unbalanced, and it doesn't make me feel very comfortable. I will say that I'm a risk taker and I'm happy to put a lot of money into stocks, but even for me, this is a bit much. I need to make sure that I have a good amount of cash on hand because there is a such thing as cash poor, and I might as well consider myself cash poor with this amount that I have in cash right now compared to my investments. When you have 203,000 something dollars in investments and then everything else is cash and everything else is 2%, you have to rethink your life a little bit. So um, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that business. So here's one more thing I want to show you. There's something really cool that my app does that I just wanted to share with you real quick. And you haven't been with me in a while, so I just need to show you this. I want to catch you up on what quarter three looked like for me. So here's quarter three, which was July, August, and September. In October and November, of course, are quarter four. I'll do a quarter four review at the end of the year. But right now, we're going to do quarter three just because you need to catch up. This is going to be a longer video than usual, but it's worth it, I promise. It's going to be really cool. So we're going to look at 2025 quarter three, just to catch you up on how your boy has been out here spending. So cool. Just I'm kind of a nerd. I just like spreadsheets and how they work, but this is a smart spreadsheet, so I'm a little fascinated with how it goes. But this straight up tells you what your spending patterns are, what your top three are, and sometimes the top three are going to differ. And then once I get this, I'm like, okay, cool. So I need to look in the Money Finder and look at the specifics behind this stuff. So if I want to know what I spent so much money for and transfer out, like what does transfer out even mean? Money Finder knows. So I go to Money Finder and I'm like, you know what? Show me what I look like for July. And just for reference, in July was when I opened up the bank account that I'm currently linked to on this app. And so it only captures a small portion of what my pay was for that month. Just in case you're confused as to why my money fluctuated so much between every other month and this month. So I had a lot of car stuff going on at this time, so I was using Apple Cash a lot and things like that. And that's where a lot of the overall transfer outs came from, as well as a little bit of tithing as well. And then groceries, it straight up tells me how much I spent for groceries, and it was Target, it was Sprouts, and it shows me how much I spent for it. And of course, this budget is a little bit skewed just because it's based off of this number. And again, Money Finder automatically creates a suggested budget for you based on your spending patterns. So you could actually fill out that budget sheet that I showed you earlier based off of this if you want to go by its automated budget thing. But just know that it will cut you off if you don't have a full month's worth of data right there. But anyway, looking at August, we're going to run Money Finder again and just kind of get into the details and see where the money was coming from. Because once you pinpoint where you're spending most of your money at, you can start taking stuff out one by one by one. And what do you know? Transfer out again. And this is just nothing but tithing slash giving. So that's what that is for. And I spent very well within the month of August, and August was a great month when it comes to earning potential. So I was just happy to see that. But $0, that's how much money was found because it's looking at where I spent money well at. And what I do is when I am under budget on something, the money goes somewhere else. So they're naturally going to be this red color that you see right here. And I'm going to definitely always go over in investing. Like if I don't spend a certain amount of money in rent, the rest is going towards investing, or I'm tithing a little bit more, or I'm transferring some of that excess money because that's what transfer out means, right? I might be transferring some of that excess money over to my business account, which is going to help me with business expenses. Last but not least, September. September was a solid month as well. And again, Tithing is what this is largely, and I also do have some where I transfer money over to my business account as well. Food and drink, I tend to always go over on, but for the most part throughout this year, I've just done better than usual on that. So October has honestly been my worst month when it comes to food and drink, but I also did express that October was about celebration, and I did get a little bit overzealous. And even though I'm a financial educator, sometimes I straight up know that I don't always do the best I can with the money that I have. But a lot of it is mindset stuff. And it's also like once you feel a certain amount of comfortability with the money that you do have, it's easy to be like, man, I'm making a lot of money, so I can kind of relax and take the foot off the gas a little bit. So I just need to be a little more strict on myself with how I'm spending my money. But I wanted to give you a quick recap of what the overall quarter that you missed out on looked like. And luckily, I was able to capture a good chunk of it here on this app. And you will see me use this from now on just to kind of go over everything. And if you thought this app was cool, feel free to go ahead and get it. It's linked in the description and it can be all yours. Anyway, I know this was a super long video. I know that I was acting up a little bit during this video, but I cannot believe I literally spent like 55 minutes, almost an hour recording. I was passionate, energetic, and I was like, yeah. And then all to watch the video back and there's no sound. I was like, crap. So these things happen, but I honestly feel that this take on this video was so much better than the first one. And the first one was really just like a warm up for me. So I love doing this and I get a lot of fulfillment from doing this. So I am more than happy to do this. Even if I have to retake this video 5 more times, I'm going to get this video out to you because you need to see this. And I just wanted to kind of share a personal image of what my financial journey looks like in a day in the life. And I'm no different than a lot of people watching me right now. I work a job. I'm in leadership. I make an honest day's living, and I have aspirations and dreams outside of everything that I'm doing professionally. And that is what you see me doing here. And this is a part of my platform. This isn't everything that I do, but I do want to make sure that I capture what my wealth journey looks like. And I've been doing that very successfully. And I also have a group called Wealth Journey Collective, in which I share even more of my wealth journey and how I make certain investment decisions, and I have a mastermind where I coach and mentor people who are like-minded and who want to build their net worth up to their first 6 figures. So if you like what you see on the spreadsheet, and if you like what you heard about the group, you can feel free to check out the description. Both of those are going to be linked for you. I appreciate every single one of you who stuck around until the end, because this has been a very long video, and I am extremely grateful to be at the 31st episode of the Wealth Journey series. And y'all don't have to worry about me taking any more breaks because I am back. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time.